All right, let's talk about energy. Not the kind you get from a coffee cup, but the real stuff, your deep biological vitality. We're going to skip the dry biology lesson today. Instead, think of this as a journey to understand and really take care of your own personal energy source. Let's call it what it is, your inner fire.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. This quote really sets the tone for us. It beautifully reframes mitochondria. They're not just some random part in a cell diagram. They are the very place where the physical world, the food you eat, gets transformed into the energy that powers your thoughts, your awareness, your very consciousness.
So, let's officially move past that old textbook definition. Calling mitochondria the powerhouse of the cell is like calling the sun a big lamp. I mean, sure, it's true, but it kind of misses the whole spectacular point, right? These are your quantum batteries. They're the source of your vitality, your mental clarity. They even generate this faint light that your cells use to talk to each other. It's incredible.
But what happens when these incredible quantum batteries start to lose their charge? You know, when that inner fire we talked about begins to flicker and dim? Well, this is where the system can really start to break down.
Think of it like an old car engine that gets all gunked up and carbonized. When our cellular engines get neglected, they get clogged, leading to that feeling we all know too well. Fatigue, brain fog, just feeling off. This isn't just you being tired. It's a specific biological state called the cell danger response. Under chronic stress, your mitochondria literally switch jobs. They go from full-time energy producers to full-time defense contractors, just trying to keep the cell alive.
So how does this carbonization actually happen? Well, there are three main saboteurs at play. First up is electron leakage. This creates what you can think of as biological smoke. Scientists call it ROS, and it damages your cell's precious blueprints, your DNA. Second, there's mitophagy failure. This is when the cell's cleanup crew goes on strike, leaving these zombie mitochondria hanging around, sucking up resources but producing zero energy. And finally, there's EMF interference, which is like static on the radio, creating chaotic noise that messes up the whole energy-making process.
Okay, so that sounds a little bleak. I know. The engine is clogged, the fire is dimming. But what if I told you we had a set of master keys, specific tools to restart that engine and clean out all that gunk? Well, guess what? We do.
These are the molecular master keys your body is crying out for. Think of PQQ as the foreman on a construction site, telling your body to build brand new, shiny mitochondria. Then you've got CoQ10. This is the spark plug. After your food goes through the Krebs cycle and gets broken down, CoQ10 is what ignites the final step to make ATP, our actual energy currency. But making ATP is useless if you can't spend it, right? That's where magnesium comes in. It's the key that unlocks ATP so your cells can actually use it. And finally, sulfur. It helps build glutathione, your body's master antioxidant, which is like an internal fire extinguisher protecting your mitochondrial DNA from all that smoke.
So it's one thing to refuel the engine, but what about upgrading the hardware itself, making it stronger, faster, better? Well, this is going to sound a little backward, but the best way to do that is by using the right kind of stress.
The concept is called hormesis, and it's all about using strategic, beneficial stressors to send a powerful signal to your body. That signal basically says, hey, the world out here is a little tough. The current setup isn't going to cut it. We need to upgrade. You are literally forcing your body to adapt and build stronger, more efficient cellular engines.
And exercise is a perfect example of this. But what's really cool is that different kinds of exercise send completely different upgrade signals. That steady, zone 2 cardio, that trains your mitochondria to become super efficient at burning fat for fuel. But HIIT, those short, all-out bursts of intensity, that creates such a massive energy debt that your body's only response is to build more mitochondria. You need both to really upgrade the whole system.
And we can do the same thing with temperature. It's a powerful tool. A blast of intense cold, like a cold shower or plunge, literally tells your body, build more furnaces. It triggers the creation of new mitochondria to generate more heat. On the flip side, heat exposure, like in a sauna, activates something called heat shock proteins. Think of these as a tiny pit crew of mechanics that rush in to repair damaged and misfolded proteins inside your cells.
All right, this final section, this is where things get really fascinating. We're going to talk about some of the most surprising and honestly cutting-edge ways we can influence our cellular energy. It's like having a remote control for your mitochondria, and the buttons are light and sound.
Now get this, your mitochondria are photoreceptive. They can literally react to light. There's an enzyme inside them called cytochrome C oxidase that acts like a tiny solar panel.
When it gets hit with specific wavelengths of light, like the kind you find in morning sunlight or from a red light therapy device, it speeds up energy production. Morning sunlight is especially powerful because it also triggers your mitochondria to make their own internal supply of melatonin, which is their go-to antioxidant for self-repair.
Okay, so that's light. Pretty cool. But what about sound? This is going to sound like science fiction, but can you actually tune your own cells using nothing but your voice? The biology here is absolutely stunning.
And the answer is a huge yes. This isn't some metaphor, it's a measurable physiological fact. Research from the famous Karolinska Institute found that the simple act of humming, just humming, increases a gas called nitric oxide in your nasal passages by 15 to 20 times. That is a massive, massive shift from such a simple action.
So, who cares about nitric oxide? You do. It's a powerful molecule that helps open up your blood vessels, getting more oxygen to all your cells. But here's the kicker. The vibration from humming also stimulates your vagus nerve. This sends a direct, all-clear signal throughout your entire nervous system, telling your mitochondria, hey, it's safe now. You can switch off that cell danger response and get back to your main job, producing energy.
So, let's put it all together into a simple, actionable game plan. This isn't about being perfect, it's just about being a good steward of your own energy. We're talking about simple things. Get some morning light every day. Hum for a few minutes. Mix up your exercise during the week, and use temperature to your advantage with things like a cold rinse at the end of your shower. Every single one of these actions is a direct message to your cells to optimize your energy production.
Because ultimately, that's what this all boils down to. You are the steward of your inner fire. You have the tools. You have the master keys. You even have the remote control. So the only question left is, how brightly are you going to choose to let it burn?